one and all, I am Cryoprime, and I'm back at it again, taking a look at the Transformers Earthrise Thrust. This is the Target exclusive cone head of the Seeker group. Alright, so just kind of getting right into it with articulation on this guy. This is a Voyager class Transformer. The Seeker mold, unfortunately, is fairly limited in its articulation. So starting from just top to bottom here, the head is on a ball joint, so you get a little bit of up, not really any down because of the chin. And being a ball joint, you can full 360 it if you want. The arms can T-pose out 90. They can fully spin, but they will hit the wings, so you kind of have to move them out. The elbows give you exactly 90. There is no hip rotation due to transformation. The legs can kick forward about that far until they hit this front skirt. If you raise the skirt, they can kick up further. Then splits to the side are right there. There is a thigh swivel. The knees, assuming they don't do exactly that and unpeg there, again give you a standard 90. And then the feet give a little bit of a rocker. So he's definitely not one of the more articulated Transformers. But I'm not gonna lie, I actually really enjoy him as a representation for thrust. Given the deluxe version from Generations was the shelf placer for him for years at this point. And as much as I like this guy, this is a much better representation of the figure. So, let's see. This so that he can be up. Show him next to Starscream, which is the first version of the mold, and basically the mold that all of the Seekers are based on after. The main difference, obviously, is going to be the cone for the cone head. The carve out for the cockpit is a little different because of the head it goes over. The back wings are obviously different, given thrust has a slightly different jet mode. And then the tail fins are different. And you might have also noticed the shin guard on all of the cone heads goes all the way up rather than stopping at the knee. And one other thing that I noticed is that because the legs are all the exact same as the cone heads for thrust or ramjet and dirge. I only have the G2 coloring version of these guys, but the leg mold here where the thruster attaches is still on this thrust, which is fine, but they attach the back fin to the midpoint of it rather than covering this whole cap, so you have this open hole right at the top there. It's not the worst, but especially for me, now that I know it's there, it does kind of bother me. Alright. So, let's get into the transformation, which is actually fairly basic. Move the guns. Now, mine is fairly tight as far as... Now, I also didn't mention there's no wrist articulation at all. That's kind of why I skipped over that. But mine is fairly tight in the joints in the transformation, so getting this piece up on both arms is actually a little difficult. Got that. Fold Fold those down. Probably actually first you got to flip the nose cone over. Probably the worst part about these is because they tab right here, it's not the cleanest separation for this front joint. And you'll extend the nose cone, fold the arms in, and then you can collapse the chest again. And I will save the wings for last. Collapse and attach these. And the one difference with the cone heads is that you'll need to drop these down and then collapse this and attach it here. But then normally these hinges would hide underneath this plate for Starscream and the other Seekers, but with the cone heads they just go over the top. And you fold the wings down, which they're just on a double hinge, and that over, and the blasters go in the wings. There we go, drop it. And I will admit it's probably just because of these attachments on the wing, but thrust has always been my favorite of the Seekers just in general, and especially the cone heads. One thing I will say is I kind of wish that these were different as well because of the cone heads having bigger guns, but it's to be expected. At least they came with them. Alright, kind of showing a side by side here of the deluxe version versus the Voyager version. And you can definitely tell they are slightly re-engineered and just upscaled deluxes. I'm not gonna argue that with it. And next to Starscream, and just double that, or also just to show you the shin guards there. Like I said, just about the only difference in the transformation. Otherwise, it's purely looks. Alright, and then one other thing you can do is you can reverse the way the wings sit so that they fold more like the normal Seekers, and put the thrusters up on his shoulders a little better. I kind of like this more because it's closer to what I'm used to seeing on the shelf with the Generations version. But the official transformation, and for being at least closer to screen accuracy, you want that. Plus, when these are flipped, the hinge on the wing will just go into the back, so they're definitely not made to go that way. But easy enough to do. So, in closing, I love this figure, but I also know what this thing goes for secondhand. I was not able to pick it up from a Target myself. I picked mine up for about 60 bucks like a year ago, and now I see them going for near the $100 range. For that price, unless you're a serious completionist, I can't recommend this figure. If for some reason you're able to find it at cost, absolutely pick it up. The other two cone heads I believe are up for package refreshes, but I haven't heard anything about this guy, so he might just be one of the harder ones to get regardless. So either way, thanks for stopping. I hope you enjoyed the review. Have a good day.